Hello, I'm Rachel Cunliffe, Associate Political Editor at the New Statesman, and joining me in the studio I have our political correspondent, Freddie Hayward, and our Senior Editor, George Eaton. This is an episode we like to call You Ask Us. We've been digging around in our virtual mailbag and have brought a couple of your questions to discuss.
Russell.
Okay, George, kick us off. For your You Ask Us debut, what have you brought from the virtual mailbag?
So I have a question from a YouTube listener, Jimmy Tommy Jojo, and they've asked, all this talk of a Tory leadership change to change their fortunes is a waste of breath. Provide one good reason why a future Tory leader would want to take over the party, only to lead the party to the biggest defeat in history in 5 months.
It could be 7 months. Maybe, if they wait till mid-January to do it.
I mean, my thing is I can immediately think of plenty of reasons why someone would want to become PM. It's a very interesting job to have. It guarantees you a fairly lucrative post number 10 career. Look at the profile and money Liz Truss is making. And also there's just the chance that you might actually be able to do better, given the Conservatives in a YouGov poll polling 18%, 30 points behind Labour. If you come in and manage to improve things slightly, you can take some credit for that and boost your political reputation. Those are my thoughts.
And then also potentially stay on. Because the big question is, if there was a new leader, would they be ousted as soon as the exit poll comes in? And I think you're right. I mean, if they do improve that, if they do improve the situation that they're currently in, then they'll have some credibility, some mandate to say, well, look, we're on the right track now. Let me stick around and we'll improve things. But then you're facing 4 or 5 years in opposition, which is, you know, as people always say, it's the worst job in politics because you get this frustration, you can't do anything. And Keir Starmer's going to have this huge majority, and the opposition are probably going to be irrelevant, at least for the first year. I
think there are two different types of leader you could get, as you said. There's the caretaker leader where you kind of, everyone knows that you're doing it for the couple of months before the election, take them into the election, hopefully, as George, you say, with fewer losses than you would otherwise have got. And then they run a leadership contest in opposition in their own time and you stand down for the new leader. That's like one type of successor. The other is somebody who thinks they could really lead the party and start the rebuilding process. And I think the reason we haven't seen a leadership challenge in the last couple of months is because none of the contenders who might want that or who think that they're kind of in the running for it, Kemi Badenoch, Penny Mordaunt, some extent James Cleverly, fill in your own other names, Robert Jenrick maybe, they all want to have their shot after Sunak has taken the blame for the election defeat. So they're kind of waiting for the opportunity to say he broke it, now we can come in and fix it. But I was thinking of who might possibly be tempted by the caretaker role, because as you say, like, you're in the history books. If you do it for 5 months, that's more than double the length that Liz Truss was Prime Minister. So you're not the shortest serving Prime Minister. You get your support that you get afterwards, sort of the taxpayer funding, not for you as an individual, but for your office and the administration around it. And maybe there's like a cause that you can champion from that. So I was thinking Graham Brady, the chair of the 1922 committee, somebody who's not in the running to take over, but is quite well respected across the party. And I was actually also thinking of possibly David Davis, who ran for it against David Cameron in the 2000s and has been an MP since the 80s and is, again, quite widely respected and quite well liked across the party, even though he has some eccentric views, and I thought maybe he might be tempted into it, but like neither of those are people.
Well, you heard it here first. Wow.
Well, neither of those are people who are ever being talked about as the ones to lead the next recovery. But for 6 months or so, maybe. Freddie looking absolutely incredulous.
I'm shocked. I am shocked, I must say. I mean, it didn't really cross my mind. I'm not sure whether David Davis would want to do it, but you know, Parliament is full of 650 people who are desperate to be Prime Minister. So I'm sure anyone would take it if they were offered. It's just a question of, do they want that defeat on their books?
Bring back Theresa May. Don't bring back Theresa May.
But you know, you're completely right. If you were advising someone like Kemi Badenoch or Robert Jeremy, you would not advise them to challenge Rishi Sunak now. I'm really thinking of that backbencher who thinks they've got their
Raymond
moment.
Christie.
Yes.
The completely unknown Conservative backbench MP who ran for it a few years ago, much to the bafflement of everyone in Westminster.
Thanks so much for watching. We'd love to know what you think. Please make sure you leave your comments below. And if you enjoyed watching this podcast, you can watch more of our videos on our YouTube channel. And don't forget to like and subscribe.